Hello there, it's Scale here again from Ornamentology. I've talked about steampunks, and I've talked about hats, and I've talked about hats generally and general random objects, but I realised that I actually haven't spoken too much about the whole culture of steampunk and what it's all about, or probably what it means to me, more importantly. Steampunks were a varied bunch. Babies and children are called coglings. I don't think they have much choice in the matter, they're just hoiked along by their parents. And I think to date the oldest person claiming to be a steampunk was about 97, I think, and good for them, I say. But what is it to be a steampunk? Well, I suppose if you ask 10 people you'd have 10 different ideas, but the general notion is that it's a subgenre about a history that never was, where we all get to wear our finery and the best clothes we can come up with to meet up and muck about. I mean, there are so many silly parlour games that have been kind of zhuzhed along from Victorian times. It's an interesting thing. I mean, look up battle croquet. Madness. Nothing much to do with croquet, I have to say, and even less to do with battles. But it's sort of like a cross between Australian no rules football, bribing the linesman, and croquet. It's an interesting idea. And tea duelling, I mean, what's that about? It's just quintessentially a bit silly, isn't it? Dunking a biscuit and then holding it up and putting it in your mouth before it all disintegrates. I mean, it's just the best silliness you can have, really, without getting too tied up in the politics of it all. And it's light relief, isn't it, from the strange old world we live in. Anyway, that aside, about steampunk clothing. Now, the thing is, you can come to a steampunk event wearing your jeans and a t-shirt if that makes you happy. You can come in what's called non-steampunk clothing. You can be steampunk light, which means you can wear your ordinary stuff. And I'm sorry, somebody's just parked outside my house and made a lot of noise. Sorry about my interruption, but you know, it happens, doesn't it? Life just happens. So you can be steampunk light, which might mean you're wearing a pair of goggles. It might mean you've got a waistcoat on. It might mean none of the above. It might just mean you're wearing an interesting hat. You don't have to be full top to toe in steampunk clobber all at once. Most of us didn't start that way. We kind of happened on some strange bunch of people wearing weird clothes and thought, what on earth is this? And then we asked half a dozen people that told us half a dozen different things, and we kind of went away and did a bit of research, hit Pinterest and Google and all of that nonsense. I'm not sponsored by either of those, incidentally. And thought, oh, hey, I reckon I've got some of this in my wardrobe. And you rooted about, and then you went to loads of charity shops and you found stuff. And over time, you agonised over that first outfit, because we all agonised over that first outfit. And then you realised that actually you were never going to have just one outfit, were you? No. You'd already been hooked in and turned into this, oh, that would make a good weapon, or that would look good on my hat, or oh my word, I quite fancy that corset, or and that's for boys too, and all of that thing. And so you end up needing an extra wardrobe, and then some people an extra room, because it sort of overwhelms you, all the little gizmos and gadgets and hats and bits and bobs and flim flam that you need, or you think you need, or you'd like. But it all starts usually with one thing. It's often goggles. It can be a waistcoat, but you know, steampunks don't happen overnight. We kind of evolve, really, and lots of people spend a lot of time agonising over that first outfit. Just put something together, because you can bet your buttons you're going to have a whole wardrobe full before you're done, and just throw yourself at it. Or if you can't come up with an outfit, don't worry, just come along. You know, nobody's going to prevent you from joining in these weird and wonderful things just because you're not wearing the right stuff. We're not that kind of people. You can come along regardless of your creed, your nationality, your gender, your colour, your religion, or any other thing that sets you apart from anybody else. We are an all-encompassing bunch, and if somebody happens to ask you, where did you get your outfit from? What a wonderful thing that is. Or, do you mind if I take your photograph? That's also a very lovely thing. And if you don't want them to take your photograph, because sometimes you get very overzealous photographers, then you can decline. It's okay to decline. And if somebody hasn't quite addressed you in the way that you prefer to be addressed, then say something. Nobody's going to be upset about that. You know, it was probably just an unfortunate error of judgment in that person's part. I've done it as a stall holder. I did a monumental foot in mouth thing. This lady of a certain age turned up with a gentleman that I was completely convinced was her son, and he chose a hat, and she didn't give me any clues about their relationship, and I was new to this, and I was naive and silly and wasn't paying attention. And lo and behold, I said to the chap, it's always good to have your mother's approval, isn't it? And it turned out to be his girlfriend. So you see, it's easy to put your fat foot in it, and I am the queen of that. So I now use the term accomplice. Everybody that turns up at my stall with, and there's more than one of them, they're the other people in their tribe that they've brought with them, whatever their relationship, are their accomplices. Because I've come to the conclusion that's probably the most generic term I can come up with. So if you come to my stall with somebody, unless you give me a clue as to who they are, they will be your accomplice. And I think that's rather magnificent. Your accomplice in steampunk. What could be more wonderful than having an accomplice in steampunk? Anyway, I hope that's kind of myth busted, if you like, or giving you my random take on it all. I think it's the best fun you can have with your clothes on, to be fair, and you can't say that about many things, can you? Anyway, you have a happy time in your steampunk journey, and share your stories about, and go to a few events and see what the mayhem and madness is all about. But I look forward to seeing you there, either when I'm in stealth mode and not trading, which is rather magnificent, or maybe when I'm on this carpet of captivity at my stall. Pop along and say hello. I don't make you buy hats, and I certainly won't sell you one if it doesn't suit you. But I won't actively discourage you either. Anyway, have a lovely time. Thank you very much for your time, and I'll catch you on another one. Bye now.